Hello everyone and welcome to Rad Chat Live at UKIO in Liverpool. My name is Naman Jolka Anderson and I'm joined by fellow host
Joe McNamara.
So we've got two new guests here. Would you like to introduce yourself please?
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. My name is Morris Panner and I am president of Intelarad, which actually this year has a little bit of a tagline to it. We are now a GE healthcare company. So that's why I'm sitting so closely to your next guest.
Here with Simon Rost. Hi, I lead marketing and strategy for GE Healthcare's enterprise imaging business. Very pleased to be here with you guys.
So you both sound like, you've done this before. You, Morris, you've definitely been on the podcast before.
Yes.
Every year, I think. So
Yeah,
far.
it's been a fantastic thing. You guys doing great.
Why UKIO? What are you doing here?
Well, I could start. I mean, I think both of us have important reasons to be here as independent companies. We've been here for a long time and are very, very excited about what's happening both inside the NHS and also what we're doing with private companies that are supporting the NHS in terms of radiology reading. We're a software company, so it really has been all about building that digital layer for PACS and image sharing. And so that's why we're here. But this year it's kind of exciting because GE Healthcare, which has always been here, maybe has a little bit of a dual purpose this year.
And the first one is, of course, UK is a very important market for us. And as a medtech and digital health company, we see this as one of the main markets we play in. Yeah. But on top of that, now Intelarad and GE Healthcare on the enterprise imaging side are becoming one company. And that's the first time that we are that close together in a trade show since this happened, I guess.
Yes, it truly is.
Why did you want to work together, let's say, as businesses?
Should I start?
Yeah, why don't you start?
Because there is a technological component. As Morris mentioned, Intelarad is a true software as a service company, very advanced in cloud computing. We on our side are a long-lasting player in the medtech place. We also have a very compelling enterprise imaging portfolio, global scale, and we have a lot of advanced AI algorithms. If you bring together these two portfolios, this will be very powerful.
And for us, I think in a sort of almost iconic way, what GE Healthcare has the power to do is really help us be a forever company. And one of our aspirations was to take this growing company, and every year we grew a little more and grew a little more, and we're really proud of what we did, but now to take advantage of the technology and global scale, and quite frankly, the people and the culture, and we spent a lot of time talking about that, makes us very optimistic about the future.
Not just talking, I mean, Morris and I had the luxury to spend a lot of time together, also here in the UK. We even use the rail system here quite extensively, traveling around the country to meet customers and to listen, to understand what we can bring to the table as one company. So this was a quite nice journey, I would say. Third time now in the UK in the last 4 months?
I think that's right, yeah. It's an important market for us.
So what do you think is the next big thing? What are you kind of trying to push and support people with out in practice?
Yep. Well, I can start a little bit because the vision that brought us together around creating a digital layer across disease states and the modalities is very, very compelling. I think it's an arms race right now a little bit to see who can do that first. There's a lot of different approaches. You could say some of the AI companies are trying to do that. You could say that some of the other modality companies, which are competitors, are trying to do that. And you could say some of the other software companies are trying to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has the full story, and that's one of the reasons I'm an outsider on why they decided to do this. But I think that's part of the driver, is that to create that ability to take information and use it in an integrated diagnostics way.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. I mean, we all kind of go from silo to silo to silo, and the next big thing is no silos.
And that's for sure one thing I would add to that GE has been very strong in the hospital segment. Intelarad, meanwhile, in the US and also outside of the US and the markets, they are strong in the outpatient settings as well. So you have covering not just what Morris mentioned, the data layer, you also cover the entire value chain within the healthcare segment. That's one point. The second one, I believe, what is next. Traditionally, healthcare has mirrored what a hospital is doing in departments: radiology, cardiology, oncology and so forth. But the patient doesn't perceive healthcare in departments. They perceive it as a journey, right? So everything we can do to unite these different ologies, so to say, will be helpful to come earlier to a better diagnosis. And that's what we're doing with our enterprise imaging approach.
I would imagine a lot of patients get frustrated by the system here in the NHS where it is so disjointed. Even the communication between departments can be stifled because of the technology. You know, one department uses one platform, another department uses another. Is that something that you hear quite a lot from your customers?
Can I just say quickly? I'm not going to say where I work, but I think I've got 7 or 8 different systems I've
Yeah.
Like it is, but we're getting a new one next year where it's all. But the admin and you need to have a different password for each one.
I would be absolutely screwed because I can never remember my password.
I'm not saying that, but
I have a lot of empathy for that.
You should not be happy, but I saw a statistic that in the US market it's up to 18 disjointed system on average in a medium-sized hospital, but it's definitely an issue. One of the approaches how we address that is with vendor neutrality, right? Being open to not always our solution, but bringing in also third parties. This is one of the things how we look at that, and we have various examples that prove that. For example, GE and Intelarad are strong in radiology and in cardiology. In pathology, though, we don't have an offer. So we are partnering with a company called Tribune Health, based out of France, globally, to basically add this kind of expertise into our portfolio. So this vendor-neutral approach is a very important one, I would guess.
Yeah, and Joe, you make a really good point.
Always, Morris, always.
Always. I should have said another really good point, for sure. I think one of the aspects that attracted us was the sort of orchestration layer.
Yeah.
The notion that you will be on one system, I think, is tricky because the world is changing and you want to be open to new ideas. So when we think about what differentiates this, it's probably how to do the orchestration across systems. Because ultimately, if you can take advantage of these different components, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You're not going to eliminate them. But if you're going to be going from this to that, it gets scary. One thing that almost gets scary is sometimes people are literally manually writing in what the other machine said to the next machine.
Oh, yes.
And that gets very scary just because I know my ability to transpose numbers, and so this is a much better way to do it.
It's also with your notes, because if you're copy and pasting, I've definitely made the mistake when I'm tired or rushing that I've copied the wrong patient's notes into someone else's, and then you kind of forget where you are. You
got to start all over. Yeah, you got to start over because you can't take the risk that it's good enough.
Yeah, but technology can help with that. It can nudge you if, for example, you say, hey, it's a left knee, and then suddenly on the report it says a right knee. It can say, hey, here's an issue. Please have a second view on that patient.
Yeah. So I think we're trying really to bring a lot of the lived reality, both from a patient perspective and also from the people who are delivering care perspective. How do we knock down some of these very concrete problems? And that's probably what we spend most of our day talking about when we think about product innovation, when we talk to our advisors, when we talk to the market. What is it that's annoying you today, and how can we help fix that?
What can people here at UKIO expect from the stand? What freebies have you got?
Okay, I have one kind of guilty pleasure. Our person who runs the, you guys have a good freebie too, but our person who runs our whole customer delivery organization, her partner runs a suites business.
Right.
So I think, I'm willing to throw down on this. I don't want to say we're superior and I don't want to be boastful, but we have the best suites. I am willing to go to the mat on that one. We have the best suites at our stand thanks to Anna and her partner, and I think we win there.
I mean, on our case at the GE booth, I know that this is a lot of input you get in these conferences, so you have to be always, your mind has to function very well. We believe coffee is a real important thing in life.
The coffee where you can print a photo on it.
Not here. This is likely in other trade shows will come.
Last time.
But the quality of the coffee is literally superior. I had already 2. I can recommend you to drop by and get.
Quite quickly, to be fair. Just joking.
between the sugar and the caffeine, we've got all our bases covered.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you both for joining us on the Rad Chat.
This was so nice. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
This was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was good to.
Always good to be on.